Got it, right, okay. Cheese, all the cheese in the house. How many of you have seen live bats in an attic? Live bats in an attic. I mean, scary, right? I was so brave. I was so brave. Randy from Test USA said, "What do you want? You want to see the bats?" Yeah, I want to see the bats. I'm feeling all right. So I go up the ladder and I get up in the, up in the attic, and I'm like looking, and he shines the light on the bats. They're hanging there with like a pile of what underneath it. It's really disgusting. And I was like, hold on, a pile of their it's like disgusting. Okay, so stand there and shine the light. I'm thinking the good shine the light. What is this shade? This is not good. This is good. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is good. And then the bat started moving, and I grabbed Randy's arm. I'm like, oh, I'm all bad. I'm here. I was out. But what did he happen? Well, that's a great thing. You guys are awesome. All right. Anybody else? Well, I got to wait. Lena May, nice to meet you. You were saying that? Yeah. Nice job. All right, you guys, this is, we're already having so much fun, and gratitude is everything, and it does change everything. How about the lunch? We got pretty good lunch. Yeah. Tell us, and your name, Kim.
Yes, I'm Kim Hudson.
Kim, thanks for being here. Tell us what you got going.
Yes, thank you so much. So again, I'm Kim Hudson with the I Think Financial Credit Union. And we are a full service financial institution for any need that you have financially. We're right up the street on Mansell. If everybody knows where the Paul Mitchell Hair School is.
Yeah,
right
on the right.
Yes. I know I only have a minute to talk because you guys have a lot to take in today, but I just want to let you guys know where we're at. I'm here for you. I'm your representative if you have any financial needs. Just a couple of the most popular products that we offer is we have a high interest checking, 4% on the first 3,000. So that's a very good thing that we're offering in the community, as well as we'd like to look at debt consolidation or any other needs that you have. We do have a 4.99 credit card balance transfer. So if you have any high interest credit cards or auto loans that you might have, we'd love to help you with all of that. And again, to sign up, we take initial deposits for everybody. We put the money in your account, and if you'll notice, you have each table that has all of our monitoring services, our applications, everything that you need to get started. And I will just leave you with our referral program. If you have children, spouse, coworkers, friends, and family, you get $50 per referral that you recommend to us that signs up for the credit union, and there's no limits on that. We had one lady that had 7 children. She signed all 7 children up for her custodial accounts, and she got $50 per child. So it's just another way that we give back to our members. And so I hope that we get to know each and every one of you guys, and maybe come by when you have time and visit our branch. Okay, and I have cards in the back if you guys want to pick one up. I have a few. I didn't bring any, so I apologize. But thank you all for your time.
Yeah, and thank you for the lunch. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, Kathy, and I know that she will not mind because this is a great thing to share. Kathy Vitale, you all know her. So Kathy is not here today because they were down at MREA. For those of you who know, and I think most of you don't know, that Keith, her husband, was diagnosed with cancer a couple of months ago. He went through all the treatment. They did all of their follow-up today. 100% cancer-free. not here today, but we are going to be talking a little bit about financing and so forth. So we're super excited because we've got some mortgage hacks that we've been talking about. So we're going to talk about seller paid buy downs. But before we do that, I have a giveaway because it has to do with interest rates. So what is today's interest rate? How many?
6.69.
Oh, daily stats. Daily stats, right? But here is the bonus question. This is where you get a little gift. Who can tell me what the 30-year jumbo rate is? Nobody?
625.
Robin, it's Kathy. I can.
Turn that up. That's Kathy, right?
Yeah.
7.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what jumbo rate is. Kathy,
6, 7.
or anybody on Zoom. Okay. Nobody's gonna win it? Oh my gosh, nobody's gonna win it. Who's looking it up? All right, fastest fingers. Now we'll pivot. We always pivot. Fastest fingers. Tell me what the 30-year jumbo rate is today. Quick, quick, quick. Run, run, run. What is it? Fastest one.
6, 7.
What is it? 6, 7. No.
I said that.
Nope.
7.75.
Jumbo, 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 jumbo. All right, you guys, nobody's winning. Here you go. I'm so disappointed.
6.83.
What?
6.83.
No. Right next to what is this? You guys, we are, thank you. What is our average house in Alpharetta Milton? 650, right? So, what's the jumbo loan today? What's a jumbo loan? What does it mean? What's the amount on a jumbo loan? Yes. So, are you ready for the 30-year rate on a jumbo? 5.875. What is today's rate? Somebody said today's rate? Jumbo is cheaper than conventional. You don't hear that? Jumbo is cheaper than conventional. So when you're talking about buying down or 2-1 buy down, we're going to talk about that. When we're talking about that, if you've got a jumbo loan at 5.875, guess what the 15-year is on 5.75 or on a jumbo? 5.25. What's the bank rate? 5.25. 5.25. So we're gonna talk a little bit about wealth building. We're gonna talk a little bit about mortgage hacks because you guys, if you got somebody that is in a jumbo loan and they've got a 5.875, why would you not put them in a jumbo loan? And why would you not actually increase that for a buy down or buying points down? We're gonna talk about that. Does anybody know about buying points? So what? No gift. I'm so sad about that. You guys, you need to know your rates. If you get them in the morning, but you can know your jumbo too, because aren't you working with people that are buying luxury homes? Yeah, you should know that. No. All right. So let's talk about this. May I get my clicker back, Raven? Thank you. All right. So seller paid buy downs. Let me tell you how this works. When a seller buys points, how many of you raise your hands? How many of you have been in real estate for more than that were licensed before 2005? Raise your hand. Licensed before 2005. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. How many of you licensed before 2010? Raise your hand if you between 2005 and 2010. Raise your hand. All right. How many of you have been licensed 2017 and newer? 2017 and newer, raise your hand. Raise it high. Everybody look around. 2017. Y'all have not lived in an interest rate, in a market where it hasn't been less than 6%. So when we use things like buying points and 2-1 buy down, this is probably Greek to you, yes? I mean, you don't know, unless you've done your own mortgage, unless you've done your own 2-1 buy down, it can be Greek. Let me explain this to you. So this is in your deck slide here. So what is a seller paid buy down? This is the smallest print I've ever seen. So a seller can choose to buy down or pay to have the home. I gotta have a magnifying glass, I'm telling you. All right, let's forget it. Let me explain. Let's get it. Okay. If a seller buys points, 1 point equals how much? 0.25% of the loan. 1 point equals 0.25% of the loan amount, 0.25% of the interest rate. Okay, so if somebody is getting a $200,000 loan and that person wants to buy them.
1 point equals 0.25% of the what amount?
The loan amount. The interest rate on the loan, it is the loan amount, and it buys down 0.25 point of the interest based on the loan amount, right? So if the interest, if it's a $200,000 loan, if the interest is 6% and and you're going to buy down 0.25%, now it's 5.75. The point is worth 1% of the loan amount. Robin, is that always? Yeah. Yes. 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 Okay. So if you are buying, if the loan is 200,000, Tom, I get to have somebody else help teach this. If the loan amount is 200,000 and you want the seller, you propose to the seller that they buy 4 points to drop that down to 1%. How much are we asking the seller to pay? 8,000. Is it worth thank you, Tom. Is it worth $8,000 to your seller if it's sitting on the market? Is it potentially worth to the seller that they buy that point down if that means the buyer can now qualify for that particular house that they're in love with, but because the interest rate was higher, they just got bumped out? Is that worth it? It is. So this is where you need to know what our options are. So we're going to be talking a lot about that over the next couple of weeks and months, because we haven't had to have these conversations, right? So we're going to talk about that. You guys good with that? So when I ask you what the interest rates are, there's a reason. Right? So we're, this is going to be in your, this will be in your deck slide later on. Okay, again, this is about the conventional 2-1 buy down. We're not going to spend much time on this because I want to leave the platform for some other people. So we're going to, that's going to be in your deck slide to learn about what a 2-1 buy down is. Basically, you buy down the rate for 2 years. So 2 years on this year, you get it for 5.25. Next year, you get your interest for 6.25. And then the third year, it's whatever the interest rate is at the time. Understand? All right, and you can refinance that, by the way.
And if it's a death value, really, you're getting it right at the end of it.
Right? Yeah. Now, this is something we're going to talk about again when Kathy comes back. I really want her to go get into this, and we may have to do some classes on this, because wouldn't it be great if you've got a listing and you advertise that your seller would be willing to buy the interest rate down for that buyer. It might be worth it. However, we don't want to get caught in a situation where rates drop like this and now the seller's doing something you shouldn't have to do in the first place. So how do we do all of that to make it make sense and to protect you, but also get more interest in something, right? So we'll talk about that as we go. Jay, Campbell, and Brennan, come on up. Thank
Hey,
you for
guys.
being here.
Good morning, good morning. So this was unplanned, but I'm gonna jump around on what I'm talking about today. So Just a reminder, we have first Tuesday tonight at Tijuana Joe's in East Cobb, something that we've been doing out of our East Cobb office for about 15 years now. It's great for meeting other agents and kind of just brainstorming how to have the best strategies in the existing market at the time. And we call it first Tuesday because we're attorneys and we're not that creative, but it just happens to be the first Tuesday of every month. And so it's a happy hour, it's a pizza bar, it's a great time. But the topic that we're talking about is what we are seeing and what agents need to know about how rates are affecting closings and how to talk to sellers and buyers, specifically the strategies that as an agent you can speak with your buyers and sellers about, including discount points. And so if
Nice
you guys would like
segue.
to come on, it's at 5 o'clock, Tijuana Joe's in East Cobb, 2 hours, meet and mingle, have some drinks, margaritas, about an hour. We'll talk about, the market and everything else for a few minutes and then get back to the food and kind of having some fun time. So
Because
that's-
margaritas in the market go really well.
Exactly. It's where all the juices get flowing. The creativity.
The owner makes things really good, like, come on.
Oh, yeah. So Felix and Sebastian, we've been working with them for years and years, and they just endless margarita pitchers. They love us.
They
Yeah.
will refill, you don't.
Yeah, they're running around like crazy people, making sure everyone's got a drink in their hand. So it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend that. Coming if you guys have the spare time tonight. But that being said, I did want to talk about the handout that I gave everyone. It's called spooky advice, and kind of some reminders here now that the market is balancing out with buyers and sellers a little bit more with these higher rates coming in and the supply demand aspect coming into play. And so I wanted to talk only because of limited on time, inspections and costs, and just kind of give you guys a story, but remind you guys, when you guys are giving advice for contractors to use or inspectors to use, make sure you're not saying, hey, use this ABC contractor only. He or she is amazing. I've been using him or her for 20 years. If you do that, and then your buyer relies on that, or your seller relies on that, there's a mistake that's made and causes a lot of financial hardship, that opens you up as agents to a lot of liabilities. Best course of action is kind of stay neutral. You can give them a list of preferred kind of contractors or inspectors to use. That's going to be the best way to protect you guys from liability. Now, I had a very close friend of mine just bought over in like the Smyrna Vinings area, and the agents, not a Keller Williams agent, actually advised them not to get an inspection done during due diligence because of the crazy market.
Not a KW agent.
Not a KW agent. And also something that this agent should have known is that this market is not where we were in February, right? But also you should never advise somebody not to get an inspection or not to have due diligence. Anyways, this is what happened. Even though I begged my friend to do all of this and try to negotiate for this because I was seeing the issues and I understood the dynamics of the changing market, he didn't. And so there was a seller property disclosure, a small leak was disclosed on this disclosure near the base of the chimney. They're like, oh, they visually inspected it, no big deal. They move in. What have we had over the past couple months? A lot of crazy rainstorms, right? Cause a lot of damage to the chimney. And then upon further inspection and review, the entire chimney now has to be replaced along with a lot of the walls surrounding the chimney and the floor of the house. The quotes that they're getting is about $20,000 a door. Yeah, I don't know a lot of people, including my friend, who have an extra 20 grand lying around to get some mold remediation done, also replacing the flooring where it's replaced. And so that's all to say, now they're engaged with attorneys to now possibly go after the agent and the broker involved based on the advice that they would give. Okay. Campbell and Brennan was not handling the transaction. Otherwise, we probably have a little bit more control in how everything went down. But that's, again, liability landmines are out there everywhere for you guys. Being neutral and knowing what's in the contract, knowing your duties in these, person sale dynamics is very key to protecting not only you, but also the brokerage as a whole. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Yes.
How does someone protect themselves against that? Because it could really boil down to he said, she said, and is that really true? Did the agent really advise?
It's in writing.
It is?
Yeah, it's in writing. It was a text message, but it's in writing. So again, a lot of things are stacked up against the agent and the brokers involved. So I will say, just don't put it in writing, but don't do it in general. There's a lot of things stacking up. That was just one that kind of hit close to home for me. One of my close friends that happened to. Now, there's a million other landmines out there for you. Here's just a kind of couple of surveys, how insurance opinions of future improvements, and staging and other improvements. It's just kind of a tidbit for reminder, guys. What's great is that all these little tidbits here, we're going to be going over in more detail with the better stories on October 19th, on Wednesday. We're doing a war stories CE class, so 3-hour CE class. And us as attorneys being able to explain and tell a lot of crazy stories that we've encountered over the past couple of years. There's one that's insane. It has to do with a murder file that actually made it on what's called date night. Is that what it's called? Yeah, they made an episode off of this, and it created a whole host of litigation issues. We just kind of stumbled into it on a personal level. So a lot of fun stories. And what we've realized too is I think you guys absorb a lot more information from attorneys better when there's an actual story behind it versus me just reading stipulations and contract terms in front of you guys. So it's probably the most fun CE class I've ever taught, and I've taught hundreds at this point. So highly recommend going. Very engaging with agents. You guys are going to have crazy stories too that you can tell us. So that's going to be October 19th, Wednesday. I believe it's from 10 to 1.
It's in your calendar.
Yeah,
It's
so
in
it's
your
gonna be on
calendar.
October
Circle it on your calendar. I love you, Lena, already. I love you already. Did you see that? She's like waving the calendar around. I love this already.
But yeah, those are kind of some spooky stories we're going over in October. I did want to just give you a teaser of the spooky advice handout, and also, of course, remind you guys of First Tuesday tonight. So hopefully you guys can all make it, if not all, many of you. And so margaritas, fajitas, good time, good atmosphere. It's gonna be outside on a patio. I think it's gonna stay a beautiful day, nice and cool. So it's not like when we were in July and August when it was 1,000 degrees outside. So look forward to seeing you guys tonight. Thank you.
Yes.
It is Taco Tuesday.
Thanks, Jake. That class is gonna be phenomenal, by the way. Okay, we've got Georgia Natural Gas. I don't know if he's on or not. And then of course we've got Kelly Lukenda with our home warranty. So if you want to send your clients to gnd.com, GNG Hub for the discount, do that. And then of course, Kelly is your representative for all things home warranty. Okay, we're doing well. Here we go. I am so excited about this middle segment right now. I'm so excited. Anne is our amazing productivity coach. Can we just give her
So anyway, I know. So this is our little segment. We just want the market center to know who is in our productivity coaching team and all the superstars that we have. So I'm just going to ask her a few questions and just kind of let you know about her. So you had tell me a little bit about you.
My name is sure. My name is Niharika Chauhan. That's briefly.
Okay.
next? She's coachable, right? And so tell me about why did you choose to come to KW Law School?
I heard from friends that they have very good coaching programs, and thanks to Ms. Robin, actually, she's the one who got me here.
Excellent. What do you love most about our office?
All the help that whenever we need it, everyone is ready to help us out. With my first transaction, Ms. Susan Foley was helping me out, and it was amazing. I was able to win that deal.
Awesome. How many transactions have you done so far?
So far I did 3 transactions, and
Sounds good. Tell me a little bit about what you did briefly before real estate and what was it?
so when I came to state, I joined Walgreens, and I worked with Walgreens for 25 years. Finally, I retired from them.
Yeah, but you got an achievement of
Achievement.
integrity, which is what I wanted her to share. That's right. And so tell me, what has productivity coaching done?
So after I joined this year, but after joining productivity coaching, I felt more confident, and I feel that whenever I need any help, she's always there to help me out also. So, and she showed me the path, how I can move forward with my transaction or how I should achieve my goals. And she's on it. She's like literally on it.
That's right. So what is the one thing that we are so proud of you as a team that she has accomplished?
What is it?
Confidence. Confidence and with the help of Keller Williams, actually, between me and my husband, we also formed the Nihar investment. And we are able to put 3 properties in our investment portfolio.
So anyway, just wanted to share the coaching, the productivity coaching is an in-house business coaching program to get your business forward. Whether you're new, whether you just being kind of new again, or whether you are in the production and you want to scale that out, it's either coaching or training, and we take that in front of us, but we're so proud, so anyway, so.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Are you guys tools to help you do more business? It's in there. All of those links are in the deck slide. So please use these tools. We're not going to get too far into those, but do that. You guys, that makes me dizzy. So dizzy. Okay. These are your classes. So your calendar's in front of you. Annual Fall Festival. It's coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So these are the costs. Raise your hand if you have already signed up for Fall Festival. Raise your hand big, good. These are the fees. So please talk to us afterwards. There is a meeting after this meeting. So if you're going to be doing Fall Festival, please stay in this room. There will be a meeting for everybody who's participating in Fall Festival. Easy touch for you and your clients. All right, let's jump into the market app update, and then I'm so excited. Okay, 1,437 active listings. Now this isn't new listings, you guys. It's only active listings in the last week. These are only detached listings, not attached and detached, just attached. 785 are pending, 1,685 are closed. This is the 3-week history. Do we see anything different here? Does anything alarm you here?
Endings are down.
Say that again, Joanne.
Endings are down.
Endings are way down. Right? We had the end of the month. So of course we saw more closings at the end of the month. Pendings are down. You know, you can make a copy of that for yourself. And this is what is happening today. So that's how we knew our 6.69. How many of you are getting value from this?
And Robin's gonna add one more bubble. Don't go down there.
Robin is not going to add one more bubble, but you're welcome to do that. Okay, can I just say one thing about this? Yes, you can post it on social media. If you're going to post anything on social media, will you please do yourself a favor and ask an engaging question about it, so that instead of just giving out the information on what this is, your sellers and buyers don't know that's normal. They don't have the contacts that we do. We're looking at this stuff every day. So you put it down on Facebook or Instagram, and if you're not putting some sort of engaging question around that so that you get some interaction, so that you can help interpret that, use it as a lead gen tool. What are conversations? Opportunities to do business with somebody. So if you're going to post it on Facebook, post it, but make sure you're maximizing it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Party chatter for house market, it's about the same. This is going to change next week when we get our monthly stats. We're still average is 7-year history is 7.2 interest rate. That does change. We pulled in an old slide. So we will fix that. And let's get to our awards real quick. We got to get our clapping hands ready because this is a big deal. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. September 22 top 20. Tom and Joanne Curtin. Peggy Connors, Jamie Simpson, Mark Ellsworth, Sarah Bird. These two are commercial. Right? Justin Kimberly. Brett Kyle, Neighbor, Jill Maxon. The next top 10 or rest of the top 20, Jamie and see John Serrano. Where is he? He's got a coaching call from 11 to 11:30, and I've said, this is ridiculous. You're taking away my time. So I don't know. I don't think he's gonna do anything about it. Jay, Mike, and Margot, Pam and Pam, 2 Pams in a row. Roxy and Michael. Christy Smith. Wrestling and Taylor. Well done, top 20. Okay. Anybody know what these are up here for? Certain people in the room.
I made them.
Answer.
I do.
We're celebrating something today, which is a big deal. Can anybody tell me what millionaire real estate agent is? What is a millionaire real estate agent? And what is a millionaire real estate agent?
One who grows $1 million DPI.
Very
Yeah.
Well then, you guys, we are celebrating the Curtins. Come on up here.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
I know, right? Oh my God. You guys, I got my head blown off, by the way. But I thought it's better than last year when some particular gentleman was sitting there and it went in a not appropriate place last year. So we're all good. We're all good if we can't have fun. So we're gonna talk about millionaire real estate agent. We're gonna talk about wealth today because these guys really epitomize building wealth through real estate. Because I believe you guys, you hit MREA in June. You hit MREA status in June, or was it May? I think it was June, right? Yeah. I have another award to give you.
Pass it down.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And the Atlanta Realtors Association for 20 years of membership in Top Producers 2021. Julia. I know, they sent it here, so I was like, oh, great, we're gonna, at the MREA, right? So, let me put it back in the box, here, we'll turn it around, wait, pass it around this way, so everybody gets to see it, I'll put it in the box over here. That's a big deal, 20 years as a member of as a top producer at the Atlanta Realtors Association. That's a big, huge stinking deal. So, you guys, we've got a little gift for you as well. So, just a little token. All it is just bragging rights. take one down, pass it around. Let's see how good we are at this. No, you have your hands full. Okay, pass one down, pass around, open up as you go. I love giving gifts. See, somebody didn't get a gift today, but a whole team gets gifts today. All right, go ahead and open once. I think everybody's got one. Okay, good. All right, here. Keep giving them away. All right.
Oh, I love it.
I heard that this team enjoys their wine.
Not gonna deny that. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wine and, Coolies, whatever we want to drop.
See, that's right.
Or
That's
coffee,
right.
you never know what
Or
we're gonna
coffee. See, that's just it. It's all up to everybody's imagination. I love it. Well, you guys, you have an entire panel of people who tell us what your mission is on your team.
Building wealth through real estate.
Building wealth through real estate. And how long has that been your slogan? How long has that been your?
Well, I mean, we really put it on in words, like we incorporated in our logo when we redid our logo. Yeah, that was 4 years ago, but we got into real estate because we wanted to build wealth through real estate. So it was always, yeah, it was always there. We just had never put it in. And we thought, well, that's a big start.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned, MREA book, the red book.
Yeah.
But there's the blue book that I think is so undervalued in this company, right? Everybody knows the blue book is.
Millionaire real estate investment.
I mean, that teaches you the path.
So, you guys got into real estate. Tell us what you did, Joanna, Tom, what you did before, and then we'll go through. Tell us what you did before real estate.
So I taught first grade for 5 years. My last year was at OC Elementary School. And they were there, last night at the redistricting rally. But I taught 5 years at OC Elementary School. I have a master's in education. And I was on the wedding route and everybody said you should get in real estate. My husband was telling me the same thing. Of course, I don't listen to my husband. I listen to my friends at the wedding. And then
Look, he's nodding his head. He's like,
and then I was like, I should get in real estate. And he's like, so I went to my principal and I just said, forgot his name now. But I went to my principal and just said, I'm gonna get into real estate. And I was all worried that he, would be sad. And he was like, what a great principal, like, way to go, like, you're gonna be awesome. And he just high-fived me right out of the office, So that was it.
you're like, thanks.
Yeah, so that was it. And then, I interviewed a bunch of agents and decided, can I do this? And they said, make sure you have 6 months reserves. And I was like, Tom, do we have 6 months reserves? He was like, we're good, you got it. And that was it. I felt the security and then I had the support, right? And I went for it. So that was in 01.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What about you, Tom?
So I was different sales and marketing, was right before real estate. I was with DirecTV, a big satellite company. And they did a bunch of layoffs, which was like the best thing because it was like, supposed to be temporary.
So who got into real estate first? You or her?
I did. And then the inspections got so hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about GFCIs and any inspections. And I was like, Tom, he's across the hall. I was across the hall. And
At our house.
Yeah.
And I had a cordless phone, with the thing.
Yes.
And somebody was asking me, and it was stressful. And I didn't know anything about that. And I was like, Tom, catch. And I just threw him the phone. And from that point on, he was hired. Like I was out of it. And he could handle all that.
Yeah.
So much so that at the closings, people would want to know, where's Tom? And I was like, what am I, chopped liver? So
I'm the one that threw him the phone, okay?
like, if you could help me do more, like we could book this.
And then the whole time, 20 years later, we keep trying to just do more. And then I hated doing other things. And then I try to throw that out. And then we all just kept doing the 80-20, you know, until you just have a big team.
Yeah.
That's really like the natural progression.
Yeah.
I feel like, for happiness.
Yeah. I like that. So 80-20 for happiness. What does that mean? Let me break that down.
Well, I mean, so the 80-20 is, you know, what's the 20% that'll create 80% of the results? So my 20% was skin, you know, hunting, and Tom was skinning. And that's basically all we did. I hunted, Tom skinned. And then I was like, well, I love hunting, but not all the hunting. I want to do a different kind of hunting, right? And then I would try to figure out, and then Tom would take on the other hunting stuff that I didn't like. And so, or we would hire that out. And so, you know, and then Tom was like, oh my God, I got so much. Like, I'm married to Joanne, who's giving me like all these headaches. But he was such a problem solver, and he would keep the problem solving 20%, and then he'd chop out the other 80.
Yeah.
And as we kept doing that, that really was that little rocket fuel, you know, formula that the book Rocket Fuel is about. It's about that entrepreneurship where you're just doing a small amount, and you're finding out how to leverage out the other 80%.
Yeah. And the leverage that you have here on your team, I've watched you guys go through, you know, transitions in different team members, and just being able to find that perfect fit, right? And sort of all of the stuff that went with that. Jess and Christy, who came first? Jess, tell us who you are and what you do on the team.
I'm the director of operations, and I just celebrated my 7th anniversary this week. When we started, we were in the back of that office, and then we grew into our agent office and industry.
Yeah.
But
So director of ops, what do you do?
right now I do the hiring for the success team. I have the best marketing manager, she's been
Julia. Woo!
and we just hired on Lena. That was a fun process. Her birthday was yesterday. Speaking of like the culture, I knew I wanted her 3 months ago, but it took her a little time to decide that on her own. And so I did a lot of interviewing to find that perfect fit to handle our clients and our care.
We did a lot of hiring to find you.
Mhm.
Jess was number 12. You didn't know this.
Oh,
She was number 12. Oh, that was just 8 years we were tracking it. We could have gone back further. Anyway, we'll go on. We can go on. Continue. This is all about.
Yeah. So, so for you, what does wealth building with the team, what has that done for your life? What has it been for you to be on this team, and how's it changed your life?
It changed my life personally first, and culturally. I got a lot of growth opportunity on the team. They're very, it's all about you first and not anybody else. So that helped first, and then just the wealth came through taking the advice from the team and watching them want me to do better.
Wow. I love that. That's leadership right there. Wanting you to do better. Yeah. And so then Christy was the next on the team, right? From who we have here. Christy, there's a pretty big announcement that came out a few months ago. So let's just make that announcement again. Christy is now a partner on the Curtin team. Woo! So Christy, tell us a little bit about that journey and how your life has changed, and what does wealth mean for that, right?
Yes, so I started as a buyer's agent, as everybody does on our team. Okay, client.
Twice, as everyone does on our team.
Mine was also a client, but I was a 2-time client. I came from the corporate world, so that's where I was for my full working life. But I found out I was having my first baby. I decided to stay home, and during that time, I decided to get into real estate. So I started as a buyer's agent, moved up to lead buyer's agent. Finally transitioned over to listing, and to kind of mirror what Jeff said, they don't push you, right? I
Right.
think they wanted me to move over quicker than I was ready. And so they kind of let me decide that on my own. And so then moved over to the listing role, the lead listing role, and then director of sales. And that role is really, really important to me because I get to pour into phenomenal agents that make me better. So, I mean, we're learning from each other. And just running a sales team on a top producing team is just so powerful. And I love feeling like I have an impact. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know that, that the both of you have just been such a blessing to Tom and Joanne, and it's just, to be able to have the right people in the right place. It's phenomenal, right?
We follow each other very yin and
Yin
yang.
and
I
yang,
love
for sure.
the systems,
Yeah.
processes. I put it all in place and then they get to run.
I
with
just want to
it.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Don't we all, right? I love that. I love that.
I did. Yeah. 2 year and some change. Yeah.
No.
I had an investment property previously, and had I been on the team, they would have talked me out of selling it. I bought my first home at 22, actually. And I
Nice.
had that as an investment property, and then just saw some dollar signs up in a weak moment, and I sold it. But had I been on the team, I guarantee I still have that property. But right now I have one, yes.
Yes, well done. Well done. Thank you for that. All right, Sherry, tell us about you, because I'm going to go down the line here.
I've been with Curtin team now for a year and some change, well, almost 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it 2. And I came on as a buyer's agent, but I'm kind of the hybrid because I have a large sphere from being in the industry for so long. So they kind of support me when I choose to do the listings too. And that part's awesome. So I love that, getting that support from the team. And just I didn't really enjoy being a solo agent or on my own. So Jess and Julia and everybody makes everything so much nicer. And you feel like a little family.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I love that. And what about wealth for you? How has it changed? Has your mentality changed around wealth or anything like that?
For sure. I mean, around these people. So we talk about it a lot. We do have an investment property. My husband's family is very involved in investing around Atlanta. So he's had one for a while. We're kind of teetering between, are we going to get long-term rentals or short-term rentals? Because he's now living in Maine half the year, and that will eventually be kind of something I do as well. So maybe the short-term rental would be like something that was our home when we're here. I got 5 years left with a kid in school. So, you know,
Yeah,
one's a junior and one's in 8th grade. So it'll be a minute before that
Yeah.
comes to fruition, but we're figuring it all out. But yes, definitely nice to learn from everybody here about investments.
love that. Love that. All right. I think that Hanani, you came after Sherry or before Sherry?
She's before.
Okay, we're gonna skip Shalina and Heather and go to Kanani. Kanani, and I remember our interview, right? So tell us why you decided to join the team and what it has done for you.
So I was a client first of the Curtin team when we relocated from New Jersey about 6 years ago. And I've just been impressed with how well they stayed in touch with me, with care calls and newsletters. And so one of the newsletters came out during COVID when my whole family was home, and I decided, maybe I need to leave now that they're all home. And one of the newsletters said, "We're hiring. Do you know anyone?" And I was like, huh. So I had been in the corporate world for a long time, retired, and then a coach, a money mindset coach for women entrepreneurs for about 6 years. And so it just this was a way to kind of get back out connected in the community. I loved Curtin Team Cares. I loved that they were about giving back to the community because that is my core. So that resonated with me, and I joined the team not knowing anything about real estate other than personal transactions.
In third quarter, you just closed. Third quarter,
Yeah,
Over 3 million.
over 3 million.
Yes, yeah. Nice. Yeah, nice.
timing was good in terms of being able to join when the market was.
That's
like
right,
this.
on a high.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's
We
doing
don't
a
get
lot,
too much profit from the market.
Yeah.
It's rocket in a recession.
combination.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Correction, not.
Surrounded by great, just, I mean, we love each other. It's a love fest on our team.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then we own our first investment property as well, because you can't be part of the team and not be building wealth
And
through
we
it.
get to
I love that. All right, Miss Shalina.
All right.
How much
So,
time?
I know, how much time I actually was in here just last week and it was less nerve wracking, just me and Melinda by ourselves, than being up here with all, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh my goodness. So, I was initially in telecommunication for over 20 years. My last position was small business finance manager. I was in Nashville for AT&T and they were doing layoffs. So I'm kind of like Tom, I was like, okay. I always wanted to get to Atlanta. So I had been talking with a colleague of mine who was with Keller Williams. He had a dual career and he had been talking to me for over a year. So once I got here, COVID hit, maybe 3 months after I moved here. And I said, well, here's the opportunity to do something new. And so I got my license and I was a solo agent. And I was working through Key Please. Y'all know about Key Please, right? And I was doing a lot of showings for Kanani and Melinda, another team member who's not here. And they liked what I did. So they would always call on me to do showings. And I had mentioned to Kanani one day, and she said, why don't you talk to Jess? And that kind of like started it where I kind of was thinking about a team, but kind of fell into it. And it's been a blessing, really. I didn't have a spirit here. They are always available. I can call anyone on this team, like, look, let me tell you what the situation is. Let me tell you, have you had this? Like, have you had a back? Have you had, it doesn't matter what it is. Someone has experienced that on the team, and it has definitely made me a better agent, being able to work through systems and being able to have the support of them. And it really is like a family. I mean, we eat all the time there. On refrigerator and stuff. So, hey, that's big for me eating. So, it really is like a family where you don't feel like you are intruding and, they're always there to help. So that's how it's changed for me.
And you had an investment property in Nashville that you
I
ended up
did.
selling.
So I probably would not have if I was on the team, but that was. But yeah, I did have an investment property that I sold. So I am always on the look to say, team, can we buy this investment property together? Hopefully it'll happen soon, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a minute because I want you to tell me some stories about that. All right, Heather, tell us all about because now you got this one that's newer now. So that next to the newest member of the team, Heather, tell us about you.
So I've been on the team for a month now. And before that, I was working for a KW office up in the Boston area. Moved down here to be closer to family at the end of July. I predominantly worked on a team as a buyer's agent and just feel like this was a really great fit from the time I first spoke with Christy and Jess and Tom. And so really happy to be here. Finished Ignite last week. So I feel like I have so many more hours in the week, which is fantastic. And I see an investment property in my future.
Somehow there's something that's telling you. That's awesome. All right. So there's a little story that, and I might not know all the details, that you all have bought properties together. Tell us about that and how did you do that? Why did you do it? And just tell us the story.
So we've done, but if we come across an opportunity,
Yeah.
we'll buy it and as a team flip, basically, and we have a kind of a formula that we use, but we all pitch in and buy it and put a little sweat equity into it and resell it. So,
And then divvy up the proceeds
Yeah,
according to
based
the
on-
investment or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
You do an LLC, no. How do you do that?
I buy it. You buy it.
We trust them.
You take outside deed.
Yeah, you said you take out.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever's left, Tom just puts in. after we all say what we wanted.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I mean, honestly, flipping is not the best way to build wealth in real estate, but we'll do it. Yeah, it's there.
It has to meet the formula though.
Okay.
And it was, we sold it what, March of
We
2020 was
closed
our
March.
last closing? Yeah, barely.
You're like, oh man, we should have held on to that one. We should have held on to that one. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
First week of March, when everything, we're like.
And we didn't know.
Right?
Outlet covers and stuff.
Yeah. Who knew? We thought it was gonna go this way and it went this way, right?
Yeah.
So how do you determine if you're gonna flip something or if you're gonna hold it?
If it fits like one of our criteria for a hold, then whoever's criteria fits, give them, that's kind of like first right.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't, like that particular one just geographically wasn't at a location that any of us wanted it,
Mhm,
so. we flipped it.
mhm. So, as well, why did, we know, we've heard from Gary for as long as you've been in real estate, that when you get a listing, if you're not asking, should I buy that? Or should I
Yeah, for
list it?
sure. So I mean, that's why I think that blue book, right, is so important. Ways to build wealth as real estate and business. So you're either building your business or buying real estate. And it's sort of a boring path, and I think that's why people choose to ignore it. But there's a formula there. And it's just like insider trading, right? If you do it with stocks, you go to jail, but we're in the business, like we can do it and legally have the insider scoop on something. If it makes sense to buy it, you should buy it. Or you should, that should at least be a filter, your first filter. Your last filter should be listed.
Yeah. So what would you advise someone who hasn't done that? How would you advise them? Obviously the book, right? Millionaire Real Estate Investor, it's the blue book. As if no one has bought an investment property in here, and you were just gonna give them some basic advice, what all would you give? Who want, just let's, and you guys ask them questions right now. So pick their brains. You've got somebody that builds wealth. This is what they do. So what advice would you give? Anybody on the team? Tom doesn't want to do all the
If
talking,
you
but
plan to move, try to keep your home. That's what I did. So I'm sitting at a 2.6 rate for my investment property because I was able to keep what was my primary residence. So if you are thinking about moving, I think step one is consider if you're able to keep your primary as an investment.
Talk to Kathy or the lender that you work with about that, because you may not think it's possible, but with the right lender, and I don't like to use creative financing because that sounds like it's not legal.
sketchy, right?
But creative financing options will definitely help you be able to do that, even if you don't think that it's possible.
They can use 75% of a lease.
Right.
So if you're going to buy an investment property and you can rent it out for $2,000, they're gonna use 75% of that as income. And so you'd be surprised at what you can actually get approved for, and you won't know until you reach out to them.
Right.
But they changed that last year, didn't they? They changed it where you had to have that a rental history. Have they changed that at all?
No, it's 75% like she said.
You can use it because I'm looking into one right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they changed it a year or two back, maybe 3 years back, where you used to be able to do it, and then they said, no, you can't, and now you can again. So 75% of the rent you can use as qualifying income.
Correct.
Rental rates right now are super high. So
20%.
75% pretty much gonna wash.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, John?
I was just gonna say, I mean, we're in the business, and this insider trading thing is real. So I feel like the biggest piece of advice I would give is to have you just be a real problem solver and try to solve a client's problem if they can't sell it. So like, just if you don't, I mean, everybody can think of a property that maybe couldn't sell. Why can't it sell? I think I came into the office one time and Jess ended up buying this property, but I was like, somebody buy this property. Like, this guy needs help. This isn't kind of what we do, what we're gonna be buying, but she was like 100%, like, it just needed lipstick on a pig and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm,
And I was like, wow, so everyone has a problem, like, you know, you've got a listing and maybe someone passes away. Now they're motivated and they just want the easy button. They don't want to fix it up. Like we had somebody with a hot tub that had turned it into a cat litter box. Like
Oh.
disgusting. You know
Wow,
what I mean? Do you remember that one? You remember that one? Who was that one?
he's
There's
blocked it.
always-
He's blocked it. It was traumatic. He's blocked it.
I mean, I'm a problem solver. That's kind of, well, my 20%. I love that stuff. And really like putting gas on that is helping someone so they'll write a review for you after you buy their property or get it sold somehow to another investor. I just love that. That excites me. So, because I mean, it's a problem solving win-win in investment. It's not win-lose. See, it doesn't have to be win-lose. A win-win is so fun.
So you've typically bought bought the homes. Have you bought them? Sounds to me like the flip, you bought cash. Does anyone here, do you all use cash, or on yours, like Chrissy, you did yours as a, where you had that loan on it, so you kept that. Anybody else, buying rental properties using loans?
I mean, all the holes
I'm
we buy.
looking into it
with the
now,
loan.
yeah.
Okay? Tell us about that.
I mean, that's part of the beauty of it, right? It's the leverage of using other people's money. If you're gaining equity on 100% where you only have 25% in, right? So that's how you build wealth. In my mind, I don't believe in the Dave Ramsey method. So.
Yeah.
And neither does Gary. So.
No, I don't either. I think it's antiquated.
Yeah. And Gary was talking about like, when you're investing in something you're gonna get back. Actually, the tenant's paying all the bills and you're gonna get that investment back.
20% on the dog.
Like, I mean, really, as a shock and awe example, is like a student loan, you're betting 50% of students even graduate, which is a good stat, shocking. But, student loans, like you're putting in all this, you're getting a loan out for something that you're 50% likely to get back. That's ridiculous. Like, this is something that someone else is gonna pay for and you get it back. Like, that's why Gary says, build businesses and buy real estate. So.
So we saw last week that rents are up in Atlanta over 20%, right? From last year to this year. So to Christy's point, where are you going to make 20%? Where can you put your money to make 20%? Even with an interest rate the way that we have right now with 20, where can you get 20% on your money? Right? Yeah. Talk to us about when you have something, when you're holding something like that. One of the mortgage hacks that Scott and I have been doing for years is making every other Friday we make our payments on our mortgage every other Friday. And this just automatically comes out of our account, and we automatically pay more on the principal. So we're paying that down. Is that a smart move on an investment, or is that a smart move on a 30-year if you're going to stay in it a long time? What's your opinion on that? Because that is a mortgage hack.
Well, you don't want to rush and pay down. Sometimes you just want that depreciation. You don't want to pay off your houses because then your money is not working for you.
Right.
So there are times when you're like, we've looked at our properties and decided this one's kind of an A, B, C property. That's the C. Let's get rid of that and go find another A.
Okay.
And typically we try to find the ones with the HOAs, the better,
Value.
more valued neighborhood. That's kind of what you find out as you get better. Everybody gets that one not in an HOA because you can rent it, right? If you can find one that's in an HOA, that's like a golden nugget. So. Anyway,
I think
but
it
that
depends
was,
on the situation, because sitting at a 2.6, if I throw my money at that, I could make more money putting it
That's
somewhere
right.
else.
That's right.
So I might do the extra one payment a year, right, for something, but I wouldn't throw a whole bunch of money at that if you can make more money somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think for your personal house, that's more emotional, like
Yep.
safety and security, that you're paying it off, but on investment, you really.
Not a good
strategy.
That
Yeah.
money.
Talk to me about withdrawing equity from one rental to buy another one.
So in the MREA book, at some point, it's right around the 15-year mark, if you're on the 30-year. It's called, you're basically not maximizing your equity anymore, right? Like that's unused equity. And so you should look to either refi it, pull it out and buy something else. with
So your
that
money is
equity.
lazy. That's what that means. Your
Yeah.
money's lazy. It's
Your
sitting
return,
there.
your return on equity starts. to go down, right? It's up right around that.
I currently opened, or a year ago, or I have my HELOC ready to go for when I
So do
buy my
I.
property, so. It's,
Yeah.
Sitting there ready.
yeah, just sitting there ready and go pay cash or down payment or whatever I need, but yeah, you did that after me, it was like a year ago, I guess, just waiting to find some after ready.
Yeah, that's the good thing about home equity. Is It doesn't cost you anything. You're not using it, right? But it's there, so you're ready. That's one of those things that you should talk to a lender about. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's your equity,
Yeah.
right? It's your equity. What questions you guys have?
I have a question, not necessarily on the wealth building.
Yeah.
On the leverage piece. You guys said 12 before Jess. Where was career visioning in the before?
It was called Recruit Select.
we use.
Career-
It was called Recruit Select.
Select.
I mean, when did you take
Find,
career
train,
vision-
motivate.
Huh?
Find, train, motivate.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget what year that came out.
We were also learning.
Before, maybe something like that. So maybe the first couple hires we had the process, but
Okay.
then we took it. But I do think, the more you do it, the better you get at it. There's little nuances you learn, but now the way it's laid out, honestly, in the packet, it's really easy to follow. It's gotten better. So, I mean, you just follow that CV process.
Well, when
I
we
mean,
took
so we-
CV, it became very apparent because they had this little formula that you go through. Check off, you do your red light, green light, or something like that. And you just go grading, and we were like, wow. And then one of the last questions is who's been with you more than 3 years? And we were like, well, scratch off everybody on this list. And Jess is here like 3, 4, 5 years out. We're like, she checked all the boxes and she's had all that time with us. Like, you can't teach that. And we wanted that. And then Jess was like, we had to wait on Jess.
Yeah.
There was that too. There was that too. So anyway, but yeah, there were, that was just learning. We had to develop into all of that too.
What was your first hire?
Admin. Well, first. we
I was
leveraged-
number one, Tom was
No,
number
no,
two.
Honestly, first we leveraged that home.
Housekeeper,
And then,
lawnmower,
yeah, admin.
lawnmower.
Did you hire an admin or did you go through the TC route of EA first?
Yeah, we did the TC.
Mhm.
We hired
Yeah,
Tyler from. North
I worked with Tyler. That was a loaded question.
Many people before that. But anyway, that was our first beat.
Yeah,
Had
that was
other
Tyler.
people before that. In-house.
Yeah.
We had some people.
Okay, yeah. What other questions? I know, long time ago. I worked with Tyler because I remember he was in North Carolina. And I was like, you're in North Carolina? As a new agent, you're in North Carolina. This was 06, maybe 07. Yeah.
Right.
And I remember Tyler. So nobody has other questions? No? We got a team up here. All right, I've got one. So, Kanani, why did you immediately go the team route rather than a solo agent first?
I thrive on camaraderie, collaboration. That's just who I am. I was also a business coach for women working on my own. I had my own business, so all of my clients were remote. So I did a lot of Zoom, a lot of phone calls. So I was really craving that connection and interaction. But I do believe in the team concept. I believe we are better together. I believe there's no way I could have achieved what I have achieved in a short amount of time without the team. No way. I would have had maybe 5 transactions my first year versus 38. So yeah.
Yeah, that's well done. Well done. Well done. So anybody on the team, if somebody is sitting out here thinking, well, I don't know, I may want to stay solo or I may want to join a team. what would you say to them? What would be the reason to join a team? Go for it.
All right, so here's my thing. I told my team this morning. So it's kind of like we all, because I'm talking to agents who've been in this a little bit of time, maybe longer, but we all have one thing in common, that's real estate. So think of an HOA, okay? So an HOA, I mean, an HOA, what's an HOA? It's to
Provide value for the neighborhood.
provide value for your neighborhood, right? And I mean, there's different gradients of that. There's a no HOA where you can have, you know, your trailer out front, Christmas lights on half the year. I mean, yeah, I love a non-HOA neighborhood. It's just in the mountains now, but I did own one here and I still, you know, we own one in the neighborhood. But anyway, so that's just a season of life. Like I was road for a while too, right, with real estate. And then I wanted to get a little bit more value add. And then Tom was like, I was like, Tom, I want a team, like, because we need to do this, and this, and we need to have a team to do all this. So then it became a little bit more like an HOA where you've got someone who has systems and there's filters, because I'm unfiltered and I can't be unfiltered, right? And be out there in the social media world and doing all this posting and stuff. So you have to have a lot of professionals, a lot of great marketing, and everybody's lawns have to be, you know, common grounds have to look really good to protect our values. Now we've got license to be creative and all that, but you could have the other, you know, extreme, which is where my mom is right now, which is super like, you know, rules 24/7. Like, I mean, she loves that because she just wants complete security. And if she plants a fake flower, she gets called out and fined on it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's that too, but it depends, and that's okay. But it's where you are and where you want your business to land. Now, I personally think I've got one of the best HOAs out there, like in my neighborhood in Triple Crown. I mean, we went out for the Milton, like rezoning committee. I'm just going off on a tangent. It is this girl, but what I'm saying is I love. my
Remember the
HOA.
unfiltered part?
I love my HOA because we do stuff like drinks in the bag and we get together, we have fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what our team does. I mean,
So you're taking the team and using the team, that your team is like an
it's a
HOA.
family. It's like a family.
Yeah.
Culture first.
Now, right, and it's because, you know, HOAs are great because everybody lives nearby and one neighbor affects another. And we all like work side by side. One thing I do completely affects another. So it's really a little bit more, you know, organic. I know, Tom's like, cut my wife off.
We are very culture first. Like for me as a director of sales, I individually and personally, is actually probably what I focus on more. I just think I want to be a place where we want to work, right? I don't have to come in every day. And to Joanne's point, an HOA is either, it can be really, really strict or it can be Christmas lights half the year. I think we're right in the middle. I don't like to be micromanaged, right? Tell me the goal and I'll get there the way that I want to get there. And I think they're really good about giving us that room to grow and kind of figuring out on our own. And I think that's what makes us great. I mean, we truly are a family that enjoys to be around each other. I don't know many, coming from the corporate world, many places I've worked where I enjoyed everybody that I work with, and I can truly say that we've kind of built that.
Yes, Leah.
Okay, as a top to answer this question from an independent agent who's seasoned, you know, you prior to the business. How does a team environment help an independent agent that you're kind of happy where you're taking it to the next level? Because I hear this, okay? So I know I can produce a certain amount by myself. I can get TC, I can get all that kind of stuff. What will a team do?
You want to take it.
Well,
I mean,
I was just like a mini series, I don't know.
Well, for me, it was, I have been I'd been with KW and I left and bounced around a little bit.
How long have you been in the business?
It's 12 years.
12 years.
13. I don't know. I just.
Just to give some background, right? So that's a
I
long
got
time
in
to then join a team.
2008 when like shit was hitting the.
And you're still here.
Yes, I'm still here. But I started with Keller Williams and I had or I started with Harry Norman, then moved over to Keller Williams for the learning aspect. I showed some houses and stuff back for them in the day, and then I bounced around for a couple of years, didn't really know what I wanted to do with solo. And I hated it. I felt alone, especially like during COVID, like I didn't have anyone to bounce ideas off of. I didn't have anyone to talk to about crazy clients or, any of the stuff we go through. And it was just kind of like, I need synergy and accountability, because there were some days in COVID where you're like, I'm employed, like, there was no accountability. So I think I liked a picture of their dog or something on Facebook, and Tom messaged me and he's like, what are you doing? Where are you? And so it was one of those opportunities that I was like, if I were going to go back to KW, if I was going to go to a team, this is the team that aligns with my beliefs. And then upon meeting everybody, going through the process and getting beyond the team, I just knew I was in the right place, and it has increased my production and my income. You would think your splits are different when you're on a team. Everybody worries about their money, but honestly, the accountability and the synergy of it all, I'm making more. And I mean, that's what we're all doing this for, right? To make some money. So when it comes down to it, I'm doing better on a team than I was solo. And I have someone to bounce off the bad days and the good days. And any of these girls will answer the phone anytime we have an issue. And that's kind of, that's
We have a group chat, we're talking daily.
It's all daily. So that's kind of why I went from the solo to the team environment. And I'll be here until I don't do real estate. And let's say.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Hey, Robin, can I offer one thing?
Yes,
So
please
I have
do.
this on the wealth building front. I
Yeah.
have I think it's like 5 or 6 page checklist, which is, there's one thing about building wealth, but then there's a whole nother skill set to protect it with insurance and trust, all that stuff, but it's all on this checklist. So if anybody wants that, I'm happy to email it to you. So you can just shoot me.
Would you email it to me, and we'll include it in when we send out the slides
Okay.
this afternoon?
Sure.
We'll include that. And I think it's time that we get you back in for a wealth building class. Yeah, let's do that. All right, any other questions? Let's give the Curtin team a big. Nice job, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you guys. Let's get that over here. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. I have put a few things on the slides. This is your last slide. So this is just a few things about 5 ways to build wealth through real estate investing. You guys, this is in the MREA book. This is in the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book, right? So let's get that. So asset appreciation, compounding return. Example, you buy a $200,000 home, it becomes $210,000. I missed the zero. That's really important to track your zeros. So we think the first year, but then $220,500 year 2 as a 5% appreciation or more. Have we seen more appreciation?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. So that's just if you were to average out that, according to NAR, it's about a 4%. So cash flow from rentals. This is what Tom was just talking about. You take in more than you pay out in expenses, and you create a positive cash flow on a monthly basis. Principal pay down. That's how you build up equity, right? Startup equity, sweat equity. This is what Christy was talking about with that sweat equity. If you're going to do a flip, tax benefits in the form of deductions. That's something I think is probably going to be in that list, Tom, about deductions and things like that. Yep. So we'll send that out. So I hope this has piqued your interest, and we got to celebrate some fantastic people. So you guys make it a great week. Now see you next week.
Yeah.